What is up, everybody? This is Mav Bites. This is the first episode of 2022. Very excited to have our guest here tonight. And also, we are trying this new studio out. So let us know what you think in the comments. And Mr. Mario Martinez, thank you so much for being here, for being the first one to have in our studio for the Mav Bites podcast.
Well, thank you. More than anything, thank you for having me. And you did a good job. Everything's set up. It's really nice. I like it.
Awesome. All right, well, let's just jump into it. So right off the bat, tell us about yourself. Who's Mario Martinez?
Well, it's a long story, but we'll sum it up, right? So I'm actually 38 years old. A lot of people seem to think I'm younger than that, but I'm not as young as I once was. But I do have a younger brother and an older sister. They both graduated from Pearsall. My parents still live here in Pearsall. I'm very fortunate to still have both my parents. My dad, a lot of people know my dad. He's always been self-employed. He owns a machine shop here in Pearsall, and a lot of people know him because of that. People say he makes miracles happen because he repairs oil field work and a lot of farmer equipment for the farmers. He repairs a lot of their equipment. And to be quite honest, that's who I get my work ethic from, my dad. From an early age, he had us going out and working with him at his shop. And so more than anything, whether it was weekends or the summers, without a doubt, I was there. And as I grew up, went off to college, came back to Pearsall, and I decided to pursue this entrepreneurship like my father did. And I started a company called Pearsall Towing, and from there, it enabled me to move on to other business opportunities. And now I'm here. I'm just I think I'm at that point in my stage in my life that I can contribute and give back to the community, and here I am.
Awesome. And so you're saying your dad, what did you say his name was?
Mondo Martinez.
Mondo Martinez. I believe my dad has gone to do work on his truck, or at least take it to your dad a few times. Yeah. I've heard the name, and I know Pearsall Towing. I've always just heard, from people from town and even from my dad that he knew these guys that were always working, and I mean, he's done work either with y'all or for y'all, or y'all did work for him. I don't know.
Yeah.
But he's into trucking too. So I've definitely heard the name, and I've always heard good things about the Martinez boys and their father, doing work like that. I thought you were actually a twin.
Yeah.
You and your brother.
I get that a lot. So no, I'm not a twin. A lot of people in high school, some people even thought we were twins. But no, my brother's a year younger than I am. So, and I do have an older sister. My sister gets mad because we never mention her. She pretty much graduated from Pearsall, went off to work in Dallas, and then now she lives in Austin. But she seldom comes down, and she gets mad because we never mention her. We never talk about her. But I always say is like, you never come around, so it's kind of hard.
What's her sister name?
Her name's Erica.
Erica
Martinez. Yeah.
Well, shout out to Erica Martinez. We're thinking about you here in Pearsall. What year did you graduate?
I graduated in 2002. So, man, it doesn't seem like too long, but it's been long enough. Yeah.
Yeah. Same. I graduated in 2009. I think the same thing. And I already had my 10 years school reunion.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that means. I don't know if I'm old or not.
It's awful because I think our 20 years coming up, man.
Oh, wow,
and
that's crazy. That's true. That's true.
That brings you a different perspective.
Yeah.
Wow, I've been out of school for 20 years. That's pretty sad.
Yeah.
Or it's a good thing. More than anything, it's a good thing.
I look forward to getting older. I don't know why. I like it. I don't know. I like the idea of being just older. I think it feels like I've gotten through life and I can say that I've accomplished all these years, you know? So I don't know.
I like that. I mean, it is true because when you're younger, you think you have it all figured out, but not even close. As you're getting a little bit older, you get a little wiser, but doesn't mean you're not wise when you're young. You just have a lot more to experience. And so the greatest thing about me is that I started very young, from an early age. I think it was 21 when officially opened the business, and so you have a lot of learning curves that you have to oversee. I mean, overcome more than anything. A lot of people see you as you're too young to do this. Like you're not qualified. You don't have the ability to do this.
Or I don't know about that idea, kid. You know, like back in 2002, what was Pearsall like, and how have things changed?
You know, that's a couple of things about that is that I feel that it hasn't changed. To be quite honest, it's good and bad. It hasn't changed because you still can go over to your friend's house and it takes you a minute to get there. That's the cool part.
The commute, the average daily commute in Pearsall is 5 minutes.
It is nice, right? That's so awesome about it. HEB was downtown Pearsall, and now it's on the outskirts of Pearsall. So that kind of sucks. Now it adds another minute.
We're talking minutes here.
So it's not, that's what's a little bit bad about it. But when we're talking about city life, I mean, to get to anywhere in the city, what does it take? 15, 20 minutes? And I mean, that's going to Dilly, and you're like, oh, that's too far. But that has changed. I think it has changed in a sense. Like again, we got a new HEB, which is good. But I think it needs bigger changes. And the downfall to it that I feel that it hasn't changed is because it's sort of still the same. It hasn't progressed like it should have. You have other communities like Jordanton, Pleasanton that, man, they're booming. They really have. And it was the oil boom that came in. I just feel that we failed to take advantage of that. And so that's the downfall to what I saw there in at that time when the oil boom was here. We failed to take advantage of that opportunity like other cities did. And so it hasn't changed. In my eyes, I don't think it has changed for the better or at its full potential.
Yeah, I agree. What was pointed out to me at some point was there has been some growth, and I agree that there's been growth, but I also think what you said was right, that it's been very minimal, you know, not at its full potential. And the things that have expanded Pearsall are very limited. Like right off the top of my head, I can think of, you know, on I-35, there used to be nothing. Now there's like a Tractor Supply, which is great. I go to Tractor Supply for my dog food all the time. You know, I need Tractor Supply, and there's things that I go there for too all the time. But I wish there was more in Pearsall. You know, I wish I could go get my shoes here in Pearsall, or, you know, like go shopping for. Let's get an outlet mall, you know, like, you know,
that would be nice.
Let's get something here. I mean, everyone's always talking about that we need something to bring people to Pearsall. I mean, I know plenty of people that go to San Marcos, which is like 2 hours from now, just to go to the outlets, you know, or is it San Marcos, or I don't know.
Yeah, it's San Marcos. Yep.
I don't even go shopping that much anymore.
It's exactly at exit 201. So that makes it about 100 miles exactly from Pearsall.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Okay, that's cool. That's very interesting. Man, we need to make that happen.
Yeah. Well, I mean, anything is possible, right?
Yeah.
Anything is possible.
I agree. So what do you do for a living now? And what is your favorite thing about it?
Well, I'm an entrepreneur. That's pretty vague, right? But I've always been a business owner, and one business led to another, which led to another. And it just created learning curves for me more than anything. So I went from towing, which is relatable, to trucking, and then I jumped into the housing, which has nothing to do with it. So my thing about it is that sometimes you don't have to do what you know. You just have to follow your heart, basically.
So, can you tell us a little bit of what are some of your accomplishments and what are you most proud of?
Um, you know, as an entrepreneur, you're proud of every success you have in your companies. Um, it, for example, Pearsall Towing, when we first started it we probably made about 50,000 the first year, and that was good money considering the fact that I didn't I didn't come from a family of money, you know,
Mhm.
and so what was so gratifying is that every year it seemed like we doubled what we made. And then you had the oil boom come, and we probably quadrupled what we made. And so that in itself was very inspiring. And again, it's about what you do with what you have. And so my vision was to always continue to invest in other things. And so that led into a trucking company, which somehow I found time, but it led into what I found at the time was a shortage of homes, and so I saw a need in the lack of homes, so we figured why not build homes.
Mhm.
I had done a flip on a house in town, and I saw that it worked, and it wasn't. And again, you learn it as you go, but I I saw that I was able to do this, and it wasn't something that was out of my my realm that I couldn't do. So I got together with me and my brother and another partner, and we developed a subdivision. We ended up building 14 homes,
14.
which is I think one of the most gratifying things of it all, because at the time, raw land, there was nothing there, and now you swing by and it's like, wow, this is actually a community,
A new neighborhood.
a new neighborhood. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I chose the plans, I chose the design of the house, I chose the colors, the exterior, the interior. I mean, you name it, the way the house is because I chose it. And at the end, once the house is completed, because through the whole phase, it's just a pain in the butt
Mhm.
more than anything. It's a lot of work. But once you're done, you step back and you look at it, and it's pretty gratifying more
Mhm.
than anything.
Well, that sounds pretty awesome. I've seen that neighborhood, and even when it was first starting out, it was pretty cool to watch. And then now to see it where it's at, and it's very, it feels fully developed out there, you know. And then people now that have moved in, they've really made it their homes.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it's now, it just looks like it was always there, you know?
Yes, and that's the most interesting thing of it all is when I actually do drive down there every now and then, and you see that these people I mean, they're proud of their home.
Mhm.
I mean, they turned something from which to me was just a house, and they have actually turned it into a home
Yeah.
for their kids and for them themselves.
Mhm.
You know, a lot of them are actually our age. They're young first time homebuyers,
Mhm.
which is pretty impressive considering the fact that um, most homes in Pierce are old. They're older homes,
Mhm.
and so everyone's looking for somewhere to live.
Mhm. Fresh homes for a young generation.
Exactly. Yeah.
What is your favorite thing about Pearson?
Um, Again, I think the thing that I really like, well, one, my biggest thing is both my parents are still live here in Pearsall. It's so easy and convenient to go show up in my mom's house, and she always has food. Always has,
Mm.
and there ain't nothing like a home cooked meal, right?
Tortillas.
Always, man, it's so good. But more than anything, I think it's the community. You have a problem, you have a question, you need help, you always have a friend nearby. You know, you call them up. Again, the greatest thing about it all, 2 minutes, they'll
Mhm.
be right there. And that's in itself is such a good thing. When you live in a bigger city, it's really hard. Some people don't even meet their neighbors. They don't even know who their neighbor are.
Yeah.
You may be living next to some weird stranger for 20 years and you don't know, you've never met them. And here, you know exactly who your neighbor is, and you know their parents, you know their cousin, you know their brother, you know their sister.
Yeah.
So that's what's pretty awesome about Pearsall.
That's a really interesting thing you point out, because I think everybody knows that, but they don't. I don't know why. I mean, there's always negativity in Pearsall. Like, people are always talking down on it, but to me, that's the reason I stayed in Pearsall. You know, for to be with close to my family, my parents
Yes.
especially, and same thing for my wife, her parents. And if anything, we always talk about how grateful we are for being in a small town where, um, for one, we're close to our families, like you said, but also you're right. I mean, if something were to happen where we were, I don't know, we were watching this show on Netflix, Made. I don't know if y'all have seen it. We watched it, and it's a sad show about a girl who's just got left and she has nothing for herself. You know, she's just been through a lot. And it makes you really reflect on your life and what you have and the people that are in your life and the things that you've been able to accomplish. So I definitely recommend the show, but it made us think, like, man, we have people here. Like, even if we didn't have our parents, we'd have people from the community, I think, that would help us.
That would be willing to,
Yeah, they would just pick us up off our feet, you know?
Yeah.
So, and that's just to say that that's what the town of Pearsall has, you know, it's what it has to offer that I think a big city doesn't sometimes, you know, it's really rough out there.
Yeah, it's like a small family.
Yeah.
You know, we're I mean, as much as we may have our arguments and disagreements, we're still a tight family. And I think anybody would still be willing to help you, you know, regardless of where you are, where you stand.
I agree. So what made you decide to run for Frio County Commissioner, Precinct 2?
Man, that's a very good question, because here with all this, with everything I've been doing, learning more than anything, learning so much about being a politician, it makes me wonder, why did I do this? But I just felt that I was at a point and stage in my life that I could give back. Considering the fact that, again, I went through some hurdles on the construction of the subdivision. Nobody reached out to help us. Not the city, not the county. I had a vision of bringing new homes to the community, which would provide more housing, right? Because there's always been a shortage of housing in Pearsall, or Frio County for that part. And so I saw that nobody really reached out to us. And so with that being said, I want to bring something to someone who's in that same position that I was back then. And if I can just and make it that much easier for someone that's trying to better the community, I would love to be part of it. And so more than anything, I think I want to make people from Pearsall proud of Pearsall. Well, not just Pearsall, the Frio County, Frio County in general. You have more in Bigfoot that are growing exponentially. I don't know if you've actually made it out that way, but man, they're growing. There's a lot of new houses in that area. And it's amazing to see in the community of Moore and Bigfoot, they're actually a very united community as well. And at the same time, I want to represent them because, one, I don't know if you know, but they feel like they're the stepchild of Frio County. Nobody knows about Moore, and nobody really goes visit them.
I was just wondering about that. I was like, so I'm wondering, where does Precinct 2 go? And then what happens for, like, where does Bigfoot land and where does Moore land?
So Precinct 2 does encompass all of Moore and Bigfoot.
Really?
I mean, it's a big area. And again, they do need the attention. They've been lacking so much of everything. I mean, you feel it, you see it here in Pearsall. Just picture that in a small town that's been neglected for how many years? I mean, I couldn't even tell you how many years Bigfoot and more have been neglected by our community leaders. I From what I've seen, many people don't reach out to them. Why? Because they feel like they're not part of the community or they're not part of the county. I don't know. I want to change that.
Very interesting stuff. I feel like no one's ever explained that to it. I've never heard that.
No?
I've never heard those towns. Like, I was just thinking about that because you were coming on here. I was like, well, I wonder what all of Precinct 2 is. And I think you can look up a map, right?
Yeah, you can look it up. They just redistrict our precincts, but for the most part, again, more in Bigfoot, they're a growing community. And you see it because a lot of people want to leave the big cities. They want to come to a quiet, nice, calm, small towns. And for the same reason we're talking about, that it's so easy and convenient to be around people you know. And so I think that's what Bigfoot and more has to offer. It's a nice, quiet, calm, peaceful community. And more than anything, since it's growing, you just need a little bit of everything, just a little bit more attention to them more than anything.
Your campaign signs throughout town show your name followed by a message that reads, "Together we can make a difference." Can you elaborate on why you chose that message?
Yeah, so I truly believe that you can't do anything alone. And yeah, you can push subjects, you can say that you're gonna, I wouldn't say, well, first of all, you shouldn't make any promises that you can't keep. But more than anything, it comes down to working with people. And the only way you move forward and you make progress is to come together. And I think that's, again, one of the key features of being in a small town is that that unity is there. We just need to continue to unite and work for the same towards the same future and the same goals. But again, I want to work with everyone. If I was to get elected commissioner, I'd want to get along with the other commissioners, with anyone and everyone who's in office or in public office, because that's the only way you're able to present your agenda that's presented to you from your constituents. So you can't move it, you can't do it alone. So you need everyone to come together united.
I like that. Seeing as this is a paid elected official seat, do you see this as an incentive to be in the position?
Honestly, I think that it's a good and bad thing. One, for myself, I have no idea how much it pays.
Oh,
So I have not looked into it. I have not looked at what it pays, how much it pays, or
that does it pay? I thought it did.
and I've known it pays. Without a doubt, I know that it does pay. But more than anything, I'm not doing it because of the money. That it is good that it pays is because, in some sense, the citizens have the right to hold that position accountable for the job they're doing, whether it's good or bad. I mean, if you're doing a bad job, you should be held accountable for it. And if you're doing great, you should be praised for it. So
Rewarded.
and rewarded. So more than anything, it's got its pros and cons, right? But for me, more than anything, I'm doing it because I want to help. I said it earlier that I'm at that stage in my life that I am able to, and it's not about the money.
If elected, what are 3 things you hope to accomplish in your precinct?
Um, my biggest thing is to bring unity amongst the community, to be able to unite and along with the rest of the elected officials, so that way we can slowly progress and move forward and accomplish everyone's agendas. And the other one I want to do is be present. I want to be present and available for precinct 2. Because from what I've been hearing, it's very seldom that you hear or see your leaders, your community leaders, and I don't think that it should be that way. You should see them. You should have someone to speak to. You should have someone to voice your opinion of what needs to be changed or what needs to be done. And so I think that's very important. And my third one would be just more than anything to listen to everyone and try to. I can't make promises as to saying, because I know many people want, for example, they want to fix the roads. I mean, that's a problem nationwide, but I can tell you that I do want to listen to your problems or your concerns for the community, so that way we can get together and find a resolution, find some way to come together and fix that more than anything.
Where do you see Pearsall 10 years from now?
And I hope that we do get that outlet mall that you're talking about.
That's what I'm talking about.
that would be great.
Somebody out there make it happen.
But more than anything, I would like to see Pearsall progress more than it has in the past 10 years. I was talking to my sister earlier from Austin, and I told her we were talking about the last time she came here. What did she see different? And she's like, nothing. Nothing. I'm like, I'm sorry to hear that. But more than anything, I would like for people to have something to say. You know, that, well, guess what? We have a new subdivision. We have more job opportunities. We have maybe an outlet. I don't know. It might surprise us all, but just growth more than anything, just to grow and be able to provide housing for the community, give a reason for people to come to Pearsall, Frio County, especially Bigfoot and more. They're already moving in there, so have them a reason to come and stay more than anything.
I'm also going to pitch out that idea. We need a Buc-ee's.
A Buc-ee's.
If we get a Buc-ee's,
that would be great, right?
It'll get a lot of attraction too.
Yeah, that would be nice.
So earlier, when you walked in here, before we started the show, we were talking about how you have a campaign website, and we were very impressed. You know, I don't see that very often. And if maybe there's other candidates that have it, but I don't see the promotion for it. You know,
yeah.
I got on your Facebook and I saw your link and I clicked it, and this is what I'm talking about. Like a lot of the younger generation operates this way. They're all over the social media pages. They're all over the websites, and if you have them all linked, that's a big plus. You know, for everybody. You know, so I was impressed with that. And when I got on there, I saw on your campaign website it mentions how you had to overcome many hurdles due to the county's lack of infrastructure, roads, water, and sewage. Can you elaborate on that a little bit? And has the situation improved?
Yeah. So again, the biggest thing about housing is the infrastructure. The most expensive part of actually building a house is actually having the sewer and the water and the road. So that's what's, I think more than anything, that's what's prevented a lot of people to come in here and create housing for the community. So it more than what I would like to do is have some collaboration between the county and the city, and be able to provide that, give an incentive to create new homes, but it's costly. It's very expensive. It hasn't really changed. I don't think there's very much incentives out there for it, but it would be a nice thing to look into more. There might be grants from the state, maybe even federal grants that can help small communities who are growing. Again, Bigfoot and more are one of those communities that are growing, and so to helping them to provide those utilities that they desperately need would be great, would be wonderful. Same thing in Pearsall. I mean, they need it as well. So hopefully that could happen in the near future.
You also mentioned having started 2 businesses of your own, and on your website it lists Pearsall Towing, Central Elite Transport, and County Line Homes.
Yeah.
What type of advice can you give to local aspiring business owners?
Go ahead, try it. Don't be afraid. All you have to lose is just the fact and the fear that you never did it, that you've never tried, and the only failure that you have is not trying. To be quite honest, because if more than anything you try it and it fails, you still learn from it. You still gain some knowledge of what you did wrong or how you could have done better. And if you tried it once, I'm sure you're going to try it again. So that will lead you to a better and greater idea. So, and especially if somebody tells you can't do it, oh man, that really should motivate you more than anything.
Do it even more.
Yep. Go for it.
One more from your website. I saw on there, you had a line in there that said you represent a younger generation. And then later, further down on the website, you quoted Socrates. And the quote reads, "The secret of change is focus all of your energy not on fighting the old, but on building the new." What attracted you to this quote?
Well, what I really like is that many people just tend to look at the past and just not want to move past that. So they just look at the past and think all the negativity, all that didn't happen. And I want to come in, and I would like to come in and move forward with a different mindset. Again, a younger generation, new ideas, and so move forward in a different way, that benefits us all. The next generation is like I said, I'm gonna be 20 years already, graduated from high school, so there's a younger generation that follows behind me. So I want to leave a good impression and lead a good path for them to follow more than anything. And so I want to focus on that. I want to focus on the future and not so much on the past. Look at the past, learn from it, but move forward. Just move forward and again, just learn from it more than anything.
Mm-hmm. And this is where I think, throughout our conversation, we've mentioned the older generation, new generation, and your quote struck me because it was like, sometimes when you start comparing them, the old and the new generations, I think sometimes older generation gets offended, like, oh, so you're saying I'm old,
Yeah.
But your quote, I think, reflects how I feel about, the older generation has a lot to offer as well. We can learn from their mistakes, we can learn from their experiences, and just because I'm saying we need new generation to be involved doesn't mean I'm trying to exclude.
Yeah, exactly.
They have a part to play themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So very good. Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate you so much for doing this with us and for helping us try out our new studio. again.
Man, it was awesome.
And for being the first one for the year, 2022. So good luck, and we'll see you around.
Well, thanks. More than anything, thank you for having me. It was fun. These cups are awesome. I really do like them, and thank you so much for having me.
Sure thing.